This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. What's going on, freaks? Wow, look at that, all channel members. Awesome. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Other than Corey. It's our own mini CrimeCon over here. Yep, CrimeCon's going on right now. I might go next year. I don't know. To me, it's not like I've already been to one. It's not like a wow. It's kind of neat running into all the people, and it'd be cool to meet the freaks over there. So that'd be the main reason I would go. Thank you, Brian Joe. Good way to start the show. Yeah, that's what they're saying. I know, Kelly. I mentioned that already. Yeah, so if it's in, I can even just drive there. Not that far away.
Chewbacca? Oh, I'll be Chewbacca if you want me to.
Yeah. No, I'm not doing. I don't do any of the online anything with CrimeCon. I went there 2 years ago, and then we didn't have it last year, and then this year I was thinking they sort of just kind of added it way after they weren't going to have it. Like the virus kind of dropped a lot, and I just I don't have time to just drop everything. Last time I went, it was part of like the 3 Minute of Mystery podcast. Yeah, never been to Vegas. Yeah. Hey, Cairo sent me I don't know if you guys can see it, but the butterfly right there, look at that. It's pretty awesome. Look at that. Yeah. So there you go, and remember it's in the description of the video. Vivid Wings, and he's gonna have some kind of a contest giving away the owl mimic butterfly. I guess kind of looks like a moth to me. But on Instagram, I guess it's over there, vividwings.us or at vividwings.us. Okay. So there you go. All right, but you should go check it out. The link's in the description. It just says Vivid Wings in there. You'll have to check it out. But, him and his girl are, trying to make a go at selling butterfly wings. I mean, butterflies. Art. It's not just wings. Sorry about that. Not the greatest description in the world. But you saw it right there. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So today I was on the phone quite a bit with Colleen Fitzpatrick. And what was the... Hold on a second. I'm looking up something. Yeah. So Colleen Fitzpatrick and Misty Gillis, you've seen her in here before. She's an actual genealogist. that works for Identifinders. And it was crazy because I went onto Twitter and I saw a Twitter shout out from Identifinders to the freaks here for our, our helping them, the grant money that we're giving them to do various projects. And then while I was over there, I thought it was cool that they tweeted that out. And then I saw that they had just posted a case that they just solved. And I was looking at it and I go, that kind of sounds familiar. And I looked it up and lo and behold, we covered that case in December of last year. So I thought I'd go over it again. And it's really amazing what they did here. See, this case here is sort of like the bellwether, absolute, it's incredible. They had such absolutely degraded DNA, but the magic that Colleen Fitzpatrick and Identifinders have, and utilizing other companies as well, they were able to get it into GEDmatch at some point, and the genealogist solved it in 2.5 hours without even it being like a third cousin even. I mean, it was just insane. Okay, so I mean, these guys are like ridiculously good. Okay. Thank you, Rita Schaefer and William Zambrano. Yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely unbelievable what's going on, what they did here.
Hi Freak Family, little something for a big cause.
Yeah, I mean, she's really, you can tell Misty just loves doing what she is doing. And it was kind of neat because on the press conference they mentioned Colleen and Misty, but they weren't able to give, they didn't really want them to talk about any of the findings or anything like that. It was just merely, they gave credit to Identifinders and themselves. But it was kind of interesting that we talked about it. That very same case. All right. So if you guys want to keep helping out the channel so we can keep pumping more money over there at the end of the month, it also supports my channel as well, as we've discussed. Unfortunately, now it's part of what we do here, raising money for the channel and the charities at the end of the month. Because now you can kind of see the difference we're making, right? I mean, $40,000 since January of 2020. So by the end of this year, hopefully we'll be over, 50 something in 2 years. Hey, thank you, Cairo. And Susie Heath. And tomorrow I might have...
Towards more DNA support from the channel.
I might have Kelsey come on, maybe Becky at CrimeCon. I might try to do some kind of Zoom where they zoom in. I don't know. See how that goes. They can show us around. Okay. So, anyways, the first thing I'm going to do is talk about this. There's an update in the Jason Landry case. Family investigators push for geofence warrant in Jason Landry case.
It's hard to wrap words around.
Hey, there's a butterfly.
Look to us.
How synchronistic.
And we've learned and understand that.
Your deepest fear.
It touches all of us.
There's
kind
another
of at our
pause.
deepest place. It's the nightmare of any parent. The worst thing is not knowing.
Not knowing what happened to Kent Landry's son, Jason.
Jason is just vanished.
And I got to learn how to sound like that whatever cadence they're using.
Tulita Copeland is a retired FBI agent.
I should get this lady on somehow.
A private investigator, she now volunteers to search for missing people like Jason.
Jason Landry appeared to have been packing to head home for the Christmas holidays.
Cell phone activity indicates the
Thank you, Stace, on the case.
21-year-old Texas State student left his San Marcos apartment around 11 p.m. on December 13th, 2020. He was headed home to
What did she say? At the same time, I missed it.
Missouri City. Investigator, she now volunteers to search for missing people like Jason.
Jason Landry appeared to have been packing to head home for the Christmas holidays.
Cell phone activity indicates the 21-year-old Texas State student left his San Marcos apartment around 11 p.m. on December 13th, 2020. He was headed home to Missouri City, a 2.5-hour drive.
Law enforcement has been able to track his movements through Luling and switches from Jason using the Waze map app to Jason using Snapchat, at which point the phone is no longer pinging. We know that Jason is using the Snapchat app. At approximately 12:31 midnight, and this will be on the morning of the 14th of December, Jason's phone stops pinging completely.
A volunteer firefighter found Jason's car wrecked on Salt Flat Road. Its lights still on.
After that, it is a complete mystery. There is no sign of Jason.
A highway patrol trooper had Jason's car towed, took his backpack holding his wallet and a few joints, and left.
I saw deer, three different sets
That's
of
a real
deer.
picture. A couple more than a few, right?
Took his backpack holding his wallet and a few joints, and left.
Like 8.
I saw deer, three different sets of deer ran by, coyotes ran by, and there I didn't see another car, another person.
Hours later, Kent Landry found his way to Salt Flat Road. It was empty and dark.
I kept expecting any moment to see Jason.
The clothes Jason had been wearing, his shoes, even his underwear, were scattered throughout the street. It was 36 degrees.
So I found
How do they talk like that?
this fish. I found where the accident was, and I'm the only one who took pictures or video of that.
At the impound lot, Jason's cell phone still sat in his car. No one was searching for him.
I don't know. As a lawyer, I can tell you that normally you're better safe than sorry. It's better to have too much in evidence than not enough in evidence.
More than 100 days have passed without any real leads. Interviews and searches have come up empty.
If someone knows something, we desperately want to know what happened with our boy.
Investigators now hoping to get that answer with a geofence warrant.
Which is basically a box around the vehicle accident. And we can ask,
Why didn't they already
tell us
do
what
this?
other cell phones were in that area at that time.
You've been out there, it's the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think it's like a cell tower dump. You get every single phone that pinged on a tower at a certain time.
In that hour window, it may very well
late
be
enough
possible
where there wouldn't be that
there's
many cars out
not
there.
another person
Right, there you
in
go.
that box
There you go.
except Jason and whoever did
Right, see, there you go. Boom.
whatever they did, whoever else was involved in this case.
Shannon Ryan, Fox 7 Austin News.
See? Awesome. There you go. No, I don't really. I don't think that. That's just another crazy conspiracy. I just think they were just regular pot. I guess we'll have to see what happened. Okay, so now I'm going to switch over to the Julie Ann Hanson Identifinders case. But I'm going to go back in time like we did before. And this is exactly what I had from, looks like December 18th. Various links that I found. Ah, man, everything's really slow. Yeah, I think it's going to get almost getting time to get another. Let me. Is it the mouse? Let me go trade out the battery on my mouse. Alright, let's see. Let's see. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Something's... I might try to get through the year with this computer and then get a new one. Okay, so here we go. We're back on July 11th, 1972. Naperville police were looking for leads yesterday in the weekend stabbing murder of a 15-year-old suburban girl. The body of Julie Hanson was found Saturday night in a cornfield on the rural southern limits of Naperville. She had been stabbed several times. Irving Lichter, Naperville police chief, said the girl was fully clothed when found. She apparently had not been molested, he said. The girl was last seen about 7 p.m. Friday when she rode her bicycle away from her family home at 1229 Basswood Drive, Naperville, according to Lichter. He said the girl's parents, Jerome and Margaret Hanson, were away at the time. Julie's disappearance was reported to police Saturday afternoon by an 18-year-old sister, Jill. Police found the bicycle in a ditch along 87th Street between Motif Road and Washington Street. I think I've got most of this. This is where she lived, right here. Right there. So that's the home that she went on the bike. Now let's see that. They just gave out an address here of where the bike was found, where she left with the bike. 87th and Motif Road. Okay. So there's a ditch along 87th Street. Okay, 87th between Motif Road and Washington Street. So let's see. This is Motif, 87th. Okay. Washington Street and between on 87, so somewhere, that's right, I put this red circle where the bike was found. Probably doesn't look similar anymore, but there's a ditch somewhere right along here. The girl's body was discovered about 100 feet away from the bike. So her bike and body were found right in that same spot. Jerome Hanson is a district sales manager for Chemical Lehman Tank Lines Incorporated, which has headquarters in Downingtown, Pennsylvania. He and his wife also have a son, Mark. Suburban Naperville police said today they were searching for clues in the weekend slaying of a 15-year-old suburban girl. Miss Hanson was last seen Friday about 7 p.m. when she rode her bicycle away from her home. Police found the bicycle in a ditch alongside a road Saturday. Julie's body was found about 100 feet away. Authorities said the girl was fully clothed and she apparently had not been molested. This is same day again. Looks like these are all the same stories, and then there's one the next day. Those are all on the 11th, so they're going to be the same. Police in Naperville said they saw no connection between yesterday's shooting and the stabbing death Friday night of Julie Hanson, 15. Miss Hanson's body was found Saturday in a cornfield. The murder weapon has not been recovered, and police said no suspects are in custody. She was a really great girl who always had time for everyone, said Mary Ann DeFrancesca, 15. She said Jennifer was active in the 4-H club, enjoyed scuba diving, and devoted much time to her pet, a German Shepherd dog named Pia. It was the second tragedy in the Kratzka family. 10 years ago, Jennifer's brother, James 4, was killed in an auto accident. Nightmare in that family. Police continued their search Tuesday for clues in the slaying of a 15-year-old Naperville girl. The body of Julie Hanson, stabbed numerous times, was found Saturday in a cornfield on the outskirts of Naperville. The girl's parents said they last saw her when she left their home Friday night riding a bicycle. Police said they were told the girl was missing Saturday afternoon, and several hours later discovered the fully clothed body. An autopsy conducted by Willard Blood, Will County coroner, showed Miss Hanson had been stabbed a total of 30 to 35 times in the back, chest, and neck. I mean, that's crazy. Okay, then there's an article from 1992 here on the internet, or 1996, excuse me. It's about some other case, but it says, Will County State Attorney James Glasgow said his office is aggressively reviewing the cases of at least 2 other teenage girls, including the 1992... Hey, thank you, Marianne Riddenauer. And also thank you very much to Mag, who sent me another PayPal. Very generous. 1 penny short of a cat eye. Still counts, though.
This case proves DNA solves crimes. Here's a little toward the DNA fund.
Yes, well, thank you. Well, as you know, some of it goes to supporting the channel, and then some goes to the DNA. You know, it goes to any of the charities. Like I said, I donate like 40 to 50% of the YouTube revenue to charities, and then I use PayPal sometimes when it feels like it's a little short. Right? Like it's not like, yeah, man, if 40% was only a certain number, you know, like a lower number, I add some from my PayPal over the years, you know. It's usually a pretty big chunk anyways, but... Alright, so right here it said, Will County State Attorney James Glasgow said his office is aggressively reviewing the cases of at least 2 other teenage girls, including the 1972 killings of Julie Ann Hanson, 16. Although, and this is regarding a guy named Major Morris is his name. So he got convicted of 2, or at least one or 2 murders, and they have always thought that he was the killer. They always thought Major Morris was the killer of Julie Ann Hanson, who we're talking about. Okay? Their research led to a decision to seek blood samples from Morris for DNA testing in relation to Hanson's slaying. That led evidence technician Ed Hayes, investigator Tom Morrison, and Naperville police detective Mark Carlson to Wayneville, Missouri. They interviewed Morris there on December 1992. Morris made a videotape confession detailing the Anderson killing. Well, I mean, that's pretty crazy. The confession was played to the jury during the trial and was viewed again by the jury during its 7-hour deliberations. In that statement, Morris said he picked up Anderson. Now, this is regarding a different case, though. And this is... So, anyways, they thought maybe he was related to, you know, he killed Julie Ann Hanson. All right, so, and then it leads to today. We've got an arrest made And guess what, everybody? It's not that guy. I think it's funny how often we hear where they had this main suspect all the years, and it turns out that it's not the one that they thought. By the way, they well, I mean, this is a press conference from today. I mean, I fixed up the audio a little bit. What's going on? No, I don't think so, Scribe. He's a complete idiot. Okay, so get the hell out of here. It shows your lack of brain ability talking about that guy. All right, thank you. That guy is a ridiculous person on YouTube. He's one of the embarrassing ones. I won't hide you though. You can come back, but it's shameful to even mention that person. Let's see. So this is a press conference today, and the case is solved using genetic genealogy, and they used our buddy Colleen Fitzpatrick's, Dr. Colleen Fitzpatrick's company Identifinders to do it, and their Uber genealogist Misty. Thank you, Michelle Nicholas. So here we go. Might take a second to kick in because it... Oh wait, I bet you it's not going to have the right audio. Hold on. Man, everything's so slow these days.
Thanks everyone for being here. We're going to start.
Hello Freak family. Remember to hit that thumbs up.
That's right. Thumbs up, thumbs up.
Start this press conference with statements from Chief Robert Marshall of the Naperville Police Department and Jim Glasgow, Will County State's Attorney. That being said, Chief Marshall.
I think it's almost too loud. Let me. Yeah, I can see it. And there she is right there. That's Misty right there.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Naperville Police Department,
From
City of Naperville,
Identifinders.
and the Will County State's Attorney's Office, we are so happy that you were able to join us for this very special day, very special announcement. In July of 1972, 49 years ago, a young girl by the name of Julie Hanson, age 15, borrowed her brother's bike to go to a baseball game. Julie never returned home. She was reported missing to the Naperville Police Department, and the department the following day put together an exhaustive search for Julie, along with members of the community. The bike was discovered on a gravel road off 87th Street and Knock Knoll Road. That was the following day after Julie was reported missing.
87th Street and what? What was the other road? Let's look at some of these side streets. It's Ridge Road. Huh. What the hell did he just say?
Off 87th Street and Knock Knoll Road.
Knock Knoll. What do you think he's saying right there? Knock Knoll Road? I'm just looking at these roads right here. That's Newport Drive, Wesley Avenue, Amy Court, North Hampton, Hampton or whatever. West 87th. No, he said 87th Street though, right? So it could be... Okay, hold on. I gotta go this direction. I was in the wrong place. Ring. Yeah, I thought he said like Knock Knoll. Yeah. Let's see if that shows up. Yeah, it does exist. Yeah, Notch. It's Notch Knolls. Okay. So that's 87. Okay, there you go. So way over here then. Okay, let's listen to that one last time. Just
for Julie, along with members of the community. The bike was discovered on a gravel road off 87th Street and Knock Knoll Road.
okay. So this is. Oh, hold on. What happened to 87? Yeah, this is 87. So it's more like up here, Notch Knoll Road. So 87 goes like this. It's over here. 87. Ah, shit. Notch Knoll Road is way down here. How does 87 ever touch that? It doesn't make any sense. You know? Because Notch Knoll Road ends right there, and 87's right there. So, yeah, man, I hate when crap doesn't make sense like that. Anyways, I'll get back to it.
That was the following day after Julie was reported missing. We conducted a search of the area, found her body, and she was deceased and had been stabbed multiple times. Our department immediately began an investigation to find Julie's killer. Unfortunately, the offender was not immediately found. And
yeah, roads change all the time, but you'd think he would say where it was now, not 49 years ago. Like, you know, use the phrasing, you know, where old, not, you know, come up with a way so people know where it was now.
And our department never, in 5 decades, gave up looking for Julie's killer. The last 49 years, we've chased many leads, identified many suspects, and all were eliminated through the exhaustive investigation by our detectives. People often call these type of cases cold cases. This was never a cold case for our police department. We continually investigated this case throughout those 49 years. We were all conscious of Julie's murder, looking for the killer, and we had Julie's picture on our desks in investigations for all these years. Throughout the years, the investigators that have worked this case have come, some have retired. And every one of us assigned to investigations took the opportunity to work on this case and look for evidence that would lead to the identification of Julie's killer. Tremendous advancements in the DNA testing and genealogy and the tedious efforts of the current group of our investigators that are with me on this podium today have resulted in an arrest being made in this case. The individual is in custody and charges have been filed. For these details, I would like to turn the podium over to State's Attorney, Will County State's Attorney, Jim Glasgow. Jim?
Thank you, Chief. I'm 70 years old, and I'd like to give a little perspective to what happened here. This is law enforcement at its finest. In the 1970s, there were 3 young girls brutally murdered in the Naperville area in 1972, 73, and 78. Julie Ann Hanson, Roberta
See, they actually mentioned that other person that they always thought it was.
Anderson, and Margaret Stern. I became an assistant state's attorney in 1982, and the chief became a Naperville police officer in 1977. So we have lived these crimes. They've been over our shoulder our entire careers. In 1992, when I was elected state's attorney in Will County, we were able to charge Major Morris.
Listen, when we're covering a story on here, you don't need to quickly look things up really quick and try to sleuth out what we're talking about. It's all going to be covered on the show. Okay, that's how it works.
Roberta Anderson's murder.
Yeah,
and he was
convicted. So you don't need to
convicted.
get in the comments. Oh, it was there. It was there. It was there. It was there. It was a cornfield. It was here. It was there. It was there. All we have to do is just listen. It's all in the articles. It's everywhere.
And then we subsequently were able to convict him of killing Margaret Stern. And he's doing a 100+ year sentence under the old sentencing format. But many people in law enforcement felt that he was the one that killed Julie Ann Hanson.
Yeah, that's what they thought. All those.
But not these
years.
guys. These guys never arrested, never put the file to the side, always kept working.
Yeah, go ahead. Just don't type
and
it in.
when new technologies came along, they availed themselves. And
Well,
it didn't happen
there's no
overnight.
more cornfields right
It
there
took
right now,
time
Aerodo.
and a lot of hard work.
I
And
mean, look at the area now. There's no cornfields there. It's a whole huge neighborhood. If you go back in time, and you go like this, like there's still. I mean, you can see that some of these homes are there, but it's less. Like in this one. Well, 94. There's more, way more. But I think even when you move it forward, it's more dense. I don't know. It's not way more, but you're still 20 years before that. So it really doesn't. You know, we're not going to get to know. There's no more cornfields there anymore. You know. The guy's description was right here that he mentioned. Yeah, see Notch Knolls Road, and then it goes up here still, but then now it actually does go. It goes around right there. So Notch Knolls Road starts right there, goes like this, and then around like that, and then it ends right here. It doesn't continue. And then 87 goes to here. So I'm kind of wondering if back in the day, you know, this thing right here. It's okay, Aerodo. You don't need to keep explaining. Right here, you got Notch Knoll Roads where it goes like this, and then it probably ran into this. It's back in the day, and then kind of ran in over here like that. See that? All right. Hey, Walker Fishing. Let's see. And they finally, yeah. Yeah, so you kind of wonder if it went like this and then ran into 87, and then this is sort of a new, like they cut it off, built something there, and it's hard to say. Unless maybe we can go back to even maybe the one before that, 94. I can still see this, but a lot of these probably had nothing. See how there's roads there, but there was nothing there at that point. So, anyways, let me get back to this.
I just want to throw out Jim Long and Mike Fitzgerald from my office, who have been working very closely with these gentlemen and ladies to make this happen today. The three charges that have been filed are first-degree murder based on the statute.
Well, you must have pretty good Googling talent.
In 1972, and there are three different theories of murder, different theories for a jury.
I mean, here's the thing, everybody. Before the show starts, I spend a lot of time trying to figure where everything is and everything, and I can already tell when something doesn't exist anymore the way it was.
To consider. The case is still under investigation. I'm not promising additional charges, but when you continue an investigation.
And yes, thanks for trying to help it. At the same time, you know, unless I'm really stuck, I'll let you know.
Things arise, and we will deal with those as we find them. But we're prepared to go forward on the charges that have been filed. And Mr. Whelpley is in Minnesota right now. He's doing court this morning on an extradition. If he refuses to waive extradition, I will seek a governor's warrant, and we will file that with the state of Minnesota. And then there's a procedure that will be followed. It takes anywhere from 30 to 45 days for that process. From what I know, he has absolutely no legal basis to defeat the extradition, so he will be brought back, and hopefully he will leave today, and it will be expeditiously. So this is something I never expected to be standing.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing how many of these 70-something-year-old people keep getting arrested.
Here, talking to you today. Julie Ann Hanson, 1972. It's an outlier at that point.
Well, his face
But
is
again,
on
these
thumbnail,
investigators, with
That's
all the
him.
beating that law enforcement's taking in the media every day, this is what it's all about.
He probably
Fund the
blended
police, don't
right
defund
into
the police.
into
And
society.
I think if you talk to the victim's family, they would say the same things. These officers have stayed in touch with the families, and
He doesn't even really have a criminal record or anything. Adds a lot Tommy Boy instead of PF Rhodes. It was. Are you trying to like make my brain hurt? J Case, you and Arrow Doe are making my brain hurt. Money freaks, word to your mother. Sandy Lee G, thank you.
and finally have been able to give.
Oh yeah, and when I was talking to Colleen Fitzpatrick earlier, we were talking about the Bibb County. It should be any day now where they know where they have a lot of DNA that they were able to recover, and they should have a report like the next day or so where it actually has the percentage of human DNA, because there's almost always a little bit of, but they have ways to extract it. It's pretty crazy what we went in this long conversation. The more degraded DNA is, let me see if I can remember this, the smaller the little sort of pieces are, right? But they know how to put things together, though, because they might have, let's see, I think of the best way to describe it is sort of like tree ring dating. If it's not the less DNA, you know how you can find like tree ring dating, go ding, 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 ding. And then you can find a fossilized tree that had an overlap period, and then find the same time period, and then keep making this string out. So they have computers that do that. They take fragments, and then they start placing them all together into a sequence. But then if there's just like a single, her analogy on the phone was, let's say you had, let's just say the Bible or something, right? And then there was a whole paragraph in the Bible. Well, you know where that goes, right? Especially if you had another Bible and you go, okay, it's right there, and you sort of slide it into position. Boom, you got this and this. But if you had the word the and the word because, or some kind of all by itself like that, you wouldn't know exactly where to put that, because there's many. It shows up a whole bunch of different times and you wouldn't know. So you don't want it to be that degraded where it's just these really tiny little pieces that you have to put back together. No, you didn't take any focus off of anything, Aerodo. It was more me. I was the one that got caught up in actually people just trying to help. So every once in a while, I can act like an idiot just like everybody else. I can admit it, though. Yes, everybody. Sometimes I act like an idiot. You were just trying to help just like everybody else. And it's probably more fun if you're doing sleuthing or whatever you're doing. So don't worry about it. You didn't do anything wrong. Yeah. I'm let's see. No big deal. Yeah, well, there's a lot of stuff to get triggered about, J-Case. A lot of stuff to get triggered about. Anyways, yeah, you didn't do anything wrong. It's me. But anyways, hopefully that made some sense right there. So imagine if you could, when you have a puzzle, here's a perfect analogy. 1,000-piece crossword puzzle, right? And you know after you've already built it and you sort of quickly crumple it up, but it's still a whole bunch of these chunks are together. So if you could stop right there and you can put it out on the table, you could probably lay things out. But then there might be a few of these pieces sitting around that are by themselves, and it might be tough to figure out where they went because there might be these big chunks out, spaces, and you wouldn't know where one individual piece went. So there you go. I think that's a better way to do it. So the more degraded it is, the more you have just single pieces with no reference to be able to put it back together. But you can still put together the parts you do know about. You just might be missing a few pages from a chapter of a book. All right, you get it? All right. Anyways, that's what I got from the conversation. We kept going back and forth.
Than what they've been hoping for all these years. So the chief and I will be able to take questions on a very limited basis. Obviously, there's a presumption of innocence.
Man, Jay's trying to do Dan Carr today. He's trying to do, he's being the wordsmith.
Criminal cases, so we're very limited in what we can tell you about the
When my daughter was 5, her puzzles puzzled me.
facts.
Thank you, Jim. Moving forward,
Back
there's
to
several
you, Jim.
facts that I'd like to take a few minutes to talk about. From the people that I've talked to that have lived here since 1972, this brutal crime haunted our community for many, many, many years. It hit the community very hard. This young girl, 15 years old, left her home in Naperville and never returned.
Oh, come on, Jay. You write like a poet accidentally? That's amazing.
The investigation of this case grew in its importance, and our detectives, like I've mentioned, were diligent, relentless.
Yeah, Jay's probably got the
had
day
the
off.
faith that this case would be solved someday, and that day is today. They left no stone unturned. They utilized private labs throughout the country to assist us with advanced DNA testing and genealogy analysis. They pored over the evidence. They conducted interviews, kept regular contact with Julie's family, and some of whom are here today. These investigators over the years, and I hesitate to call out specific investigators because there are so many people that were involved in this case throughout the past 49 years, but I feel compelled to list several of them. Mark Carlson, Jamie Griffith, Mike Cross, Dave Seneke, John Ripsky, Brian Cunningham, to name just a few. There were many more, again, that worked this case who are now retired. I want to point out specifically our current team of investigators that picked up this case when they went into investigations. Like I said earlier, we never treated this as a cold case. These investigators are standing with me today. Our lead investigators, Detective John Reed and Detective Mike Umbenhauer, Investigator Don Bish, Commanders Tim Black and Jason Zarobic. They never gave up. They kept the faith that at someday this...
I'm pretty sure he cares, Scribe, because now his name will always go down in history as a psychopathic murderer. As a matter of fact, I would absolutely be shocked if this guy hadn't killed other people. So I thought it might be kind of fun to, or, fun or interesting, however you want to, what term you want to use, to kind of look stuff up after this to see if we can find some things around, he was 27 at the time, so maybe go back to 1969 to, 88, 1990, because he was probably still active doing similar things. He looks like, he's another one of these Dennis Radar types, just kind of blending in as some kind of a dork, and, just probably had a family and kids and seemed totally normal. He doesn't have a criminal record that I could find. I kind of mapped out some of the places where he was living. Apparently he lived in Naperville at the time. I couldn't find an address from then, but definitely some other ones in the same state.
Case would be solved. It's a total team effort. They didn't do it alone. And I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone who had a hand in the charges that were announced today. I want to thank specifically the Hanson family that were with us throughout these 49 years and all the anxiety, the stress that this family had to go through this life-changing event for them. The Mounds View, Minnesota Police Department, the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, the Minnesota State Crime Lab, Misty Gillis, senior forensics genealogist, who is here today, and
I mean, you know what's cool? It's cool that, you know, we can just talk to him. Her and Colleen are going to come on our show, on the show together here, maybe next week. They're just trying to get this little form filled out, but they're going to be coming on. All right, so it's going to be amazing. The Freak family. We get to talk to smart people.
Minnesota State Crime Lab, Misty Gillis, senior forensics genealogist, who is here today, and Colleen Fitzpatrick with Identifinders International LLC.
Wait, what did you say? Did you say Identifiers? Hold on a second.
And Colleen Fitzpatrick with Identifinders International.
Oh, it's Identifinders. Oh man, you got to say their name right.
National LLC. Hudson Alpha Lab in Huntsville, Alabama. Forensics Analytical Crime Lab in Hayward, California. And of course, the Will County State's Attorney's Office. As you can see, we left.
I mean, this girl right here, this legendary genetic genealogist, she solved it in 2.5 hours. Amazing.
No stone unturned. We accessed all the resources throughout this country that we had available to us to make this case successful. At this time, I would like to read a statement from the Hanson family. As you might assume, it has been a long journey for our family. We are forever grateful to all those who have worked on this case throughout the many years. We would especially like to thank Team Julie, who are truly Julie's heroes.
I do want to say this, though. When we do the Bibb County John Doe, the hitchhiker, we get to, I guess the sheriff's already said, sure, you can publicize it, do whatever. So I get to record her actually doing it. What I want to do is be on a Zoom as the DNA is uploaded to GEDmatch and viewing it for the first time in terms of the centimorgan matches. And just to sort of, boom, is it 200, 300? What is it? I think that'd be pretty cool. And so we're going to record it, then we have to blur out, before you get to watch it, I'd have to blur out names and things like that pop up.
Thank you. At this time, the state's attorney, Jim Glasgow, and myself will answer any questions you may have.
Thanks, Caslin.
No questions?
Then you get to see
Yes,
how it works.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you able to, what details are you able to give us in terms of how you were able to ultimately solve this? And I assume DNA was a big part of it?
DNA and genealogy.
Can you give us any idea as to what led you to this crime?
Genealogy and DNA evidence.
Yeah, these guys are being way too cautious.
I don't want to say anything publicly that's going to jeopardize the
it's...
prosecution of this case. State's Attorney Glasgow?
Why would that jeopardize anything?
We can't go to the specifics. I think probably everybody in the media is aware of this procedure, and you know, these detectives used it with great expertise, and resulted in the charges being filed here today.
Can you tell us where, how this?
Thank you, Kathy Freidenmaker.
To the case, I mean, can you give us any specifics at all?
Well, he just retired as a welder up in Minnesota, and he was a resident of Naperville back at the time of this crime being committed. Other than that,
Was he an acquaintance of the family or of Julie? How old is he?
He was 27 in 1972. He's 76 today.
Did you use, was his DNA found through a law enforcement database or genealogical ancestry.com?
Again, if you go on the internet, you can.
Hey, by the way, is there an actual Jane or John Doe named Arrow Doe, or is that just the name that you picked? Yeah, there's no way you're gonna be able to suppress anything. It's it's DNA, and it led to him. So if they get it to no, obviously they always try crap like, hey, let's try to get this. Well, if you suppress it, then it's fruit from a forbidden tree to even have led to him. So I don't even know how. It's sort of this weird thing, right? What if a judge deemed the way you obtained the DNA and all that stuff to be, unconstitutional, and then that means that the entire lead that led to his arrest can't be used. It seems like, right? Because I mean, it's really weird. Because now you got the right guy. He's just sitting there. But now you can't use the evidence that you developed at trial. Plus, you shouldn't have been able to use it anyways. It's like like I said, the fruit from a forbidden tree. But I don't know how you unwind that at that point. Anyways.
Google the procedures that are used. Like, we can't discuss what was used in this case.
Hello, Sarah Smile.
All right, thank you all for coming today. And we have our communications specialist, Kelly Munch, will be handing out a press release to everybody. So again, thank you so much.
You might be able to, Dan Carr. You could check it out. But how cool is that, huh? Boom. It's Identifinders, not identifiers. Okay, so, make sure you get the names. When you're giving credit to people, make sure you get their names correct. It's really important. You don't say, hey, great job there, Gary. Or, hey, I don't know. I just get so frustrated with it. That's like the most important part. And also make sure when you're achieving something and somebody helped you out that you always make sure that you mention their name at the same time. Okay? Oh, okay. Arrow Doe's name is, her nickname is Doe. Her brother called her that when she got home as a newborn, and then I added Arrow because I used to do ballet and my leaps were legendary. All right. Then everyone calls you the messed up name. Yep, Craig, Gary, Craig, Jerry. Let's see, what do we got here? I actually asked her today, and she goes, well, okay, it was 2.5 hours, but 2 hours sounded better on here. Identifinders International, this is actually on their website. And here, let me show you this. It was kind of cool today on Twitter. Or it wasn't today, but where is it? Yeah, was it here? Anyways, that's Identifinders. Where was the one? It was kind of neat to see. Let me go find it really quick. Thank you, Lee D. Okay, there it is. Oh yeah, look at they put out this tweet. It says Identifinders is grateful for the grant makers like Gray Hughes to help fund. That's my Twitter handle. To help fund our work for law enforcement agencies around the globe, Gray's channel generously donates funds to help families of violent crime victims receive justice and begin closure. So there you go. Boom! Right there. The channel. The freaks. We got to get the freaks in there somehow next time. But yeah, see, basically what genetic genealogists do is they just provide a lead, a ridiculously great lead. Leads, and in fact, it's a lead where you say, hey, here's the guy's name. Or the woman's name, right? It's usually a guy, though, right, in these cases. So, here's the guy's name. Thank you, Sarah Smile. And so what happens after that is law enforcement takes that lead. They've already got the DNA in CODIS. They clandestinely get a sample of the DNA, maybe off of a Coke bottle or a straw or something, and they get the DNA, and then if it matches, then they start trying to build the case like, did he live in the area? And put all the pieces together. And then once all that's put together and, maybe a grand jury or the prosecutor says, yes, we've got enough here, then charges are filed and an arrest is made. Yeah, that sucked, Scott Holland. We had that game. There was a weird moment in the third quarter on the foul on a 3-point shot that changed the entire game. It was really weird. Lame, too, though. Yeah, I mean, you can do anything. This account, are you going to keep listing all the other ones, too? Let's see. The Hanson case was considered high risk because after 50 years... Let me read through this. I think this one will be interesting because it's from Identifinders. Let's see. Identifinders International, in conjunction with Naperville Police Department, is pleased to announce the arrest of Barry Lee Whelpley, 76, as a suspect in the murder of 15-year-old Julie Hanson. Julie was last seen on July 7, 1972, when she left home on her bicycle to watch a baseball game. Her body was found several miles from her home. Hey, thank you, Fibrous Loop. Let's see. 1970, when she left her bicycle, 1972, when she left home on her bicycle to watch a baseball game. Her body was found several miles from her home in a rural area the following day. Although numerous individuals were DNA tested, no CODIS hit was achieved and the case went cold. This was never a cold case for our police department, said Chief Robert Marshall. The brutal crime haunted our community. Many in the department kept Julie's picture on their desks for years. The Hanson case was considered high risk because after 50 years, the crime scene DNA was severely degraded and believed to be unusable. Perhaps a place like Paranormal believed it was unusable. The sample was also very low quantity, okay? So it was very little. I mean, just think about how incredibly good Colleen and her crew are. Listen to this. It was severely degraded and a tiny sample. The sample was also very low quantity, consisting of 360 picograms. And remember the nanograms? We have 3.5 nanograms in the Bibb County case. A picogram is 1,000 times smaller. Okay? So you have 360 of those. So, I mean, it was only a quarter of the 360 was human. Okay, so they ended up with 360 picograms. and only a quarter of that was human. So that means only 80. So it's vastly smaller, like literally 3,000 times smaller than what we got in the Bibb County. That is only a 0.3 trillionths of a gram. I mean, do you know how small that is? 0.3 trillionth of a gram. In November 2020, the Naperville Police Department contacted Identifinders International to try to solve the case using... You know what's weird is I covered the case in December, just a month after Identifinders got that. How weird is that? Like, what are the odds of something like that? Just, we've had a couple of those weirdness deals here. But wait a minute, I thought I only covered the really big cases. Never mind. In November 2020, the Naperville Police Department contacted Identifinders International to try to solve the case using forensic genetic genealogy as a last resort. Over the 6 months, Identifinders faced numerous challenges in creating viable genetic genealogy data without a guarantee of success. Yet once that data was uploaded to the genetic genealogy database, GEDmatch, the case was solved in 2 hours. It was actually 2.5 hours. I got her to say, she goes, okay, it was, you know. We are very happy and filled with a sense of tremendous meaning. I mean, I just can't imagine how great that must feel. It has been a very long journey for our entire organization. We are honored that the Naperville Police Department trusted us to work on the groundbreaking case, said Dr. Colleen Fitzpatrick, president of Identifinders International. It was one of the highest risk cases we've addressed to date because of the very poor condition of the DNA. Solving such a difficult case fuels our passion for supporting law enforcement in cases that were thought to be over the horizon of modern technology. Hey, Delphi. Hey, did you hear this? This case should make you think twice. Maybe give them a call. Delphi, hey, give them a call. Yeah, so anyways, I forwarded this to Jerry Holman, the article on it, okay? You know, if you guys do have a really poor DNA sample, you might as well give them a shot. I'm sure they're better than whoever you're using. Trust me. Let's see. So it says below, senior forensic genealogist Misty Gillis right here. She's cool to talk to too. I can't wait to have them on the show. All right, and let's see. A couple of articles out there. And when I called Colleen up, she said she's really tired because she got up at 6 in the morning to watch the press conference, and she's talked to ABC, NBC, CBS, all the channels, all day long.
In a decades-old murder case out of Naperville. For nearly 50 years, officers have been trying to find the person who killed 15-year-old Julie Ann Hanson, and today they say they have their man. Chris Coffey reports from Will County.
15-year-old Julie Ann Hanson went missing in Naperville nearly 5 decades ago. Police say she borrowed her brother's bike to go to a baseball game and never returned home. Police say on the day Julie Ann Hanson was reported missing in 1972, her body was discovered later that day in a field near 87th and Modaff.
Okay, 87th and Modaff. Yeah, that was the one. Let me just see something. So that's 87. Or Modaff is right there, and that's 87. Yeah, so that's where I've already had a pin there, but it's just near there, and that doesn't make any sense though, related to what the sheriff said when he said Knock Knowles Road, right? I mean, it's not even close to there. So again, it's back to not making a lot of sense.
She had been stabbed multiple times. Investigators say Hanson had also been sexually assaulted. Her bike was discovered in a near...
She was sexually assaulted. That's probably how they got the DNA. But isn't it weird back in the... See, again, they were trying to keep that from the public. I would say almost any time you have a young girl that has been stabbed and or thrown off the side of the road somewhere, it's almost always going to be like 90-something% a sexual assault. So even when, like the case we talked about last night in Portland, you know, there's probably a sexual assault angle in that one, even though it says they couldn't find it. You know, they're just not telling you the truth in the article. They don't want anybody to know, because like they say, they don't want they want to keep things that only the killer will know.
Nearby ditch, but investigators could not immediately identify a suspect.
This brutal crime haunted our community for many, many, many years. It hit the community very hard.
Naperville police say they never gave up looking for Hanson's killer. And today, almost 49 years later, authorities say advancements in DNA and genealogy technology have led them to the man they believe is responsible for Hanson's death.
There he is.
76-year-old Barry Lee Whelpley of Mounds View, Minnesota.
He was such
The three
a great
charges
guy.
that have been filed are first-degree murder, based on the statute in 1972. And there are three different theories of murder, different theories for a jury to consider.
Whelpley is a retired welder and lived in Naperville near the Hanson residence at the time of the murder. Today, her family released a statement through police saying, "As you might assume, it has been a long journey for our family. We are forever grateful to all those who have worked on this case throughout the many years. We would especially like to thank Team Julie, who are truly Julie's heroes."
People often call these type of cases cold cases. This was never a cold case for our police department.
Whelpley is in custody in Minnesota, awaiting extradition to Illinois. In Naperville, Chris Coffey, NBC5 News.
All right, thanks to Chris.
You know what's crazy is I actually found this Barry monster in a newspaper article. Look at this. Watch this. Something getting him ready for the journey to Chicago orphanage. Beginning on the floor and reading clockwise, Gregory Lee Sears, Barry Lee Whelpley. There aren't going to be two Barry Lee Whelpleys, especially in Illinois where he lived. Okay, so and the age is right. See, 1952. He was, let's say, in 72 he was 27. That means he's 7 in this picture here. And when you look down, he's one of these kids right here. It looks like probably 7 years old. So it's weird that he was actually he's in a newspaper in an image way back in the day. Right? So he'd be 7 years old in 1952. So I did find him there. What else we got? Yeah, he's got a really boring been verified page. No criminal history. He probably, you know, I don't know. Who knows if he killed more than one? But people who do what he did it multiple times. Why did he stab her 30-something times? That means he's got something very wrong with him. And that means that he didn't know this person. So that means he killed her. And that it sort of leads you to think he did it again and again to other women or girls, because he had some kind of some hatred in there for something. Something may have happened to him, and he's taking it out on these girls. And I doubt that, you know, if he'd stabbed 1 or 2 times and then left, I would think, God, maybe he felt like, oh, what the hell am I doing? But he stabbed 30-something times. He just kept going and going and going. He was feeling it was cathartic to him. He's a psycho, okay? Nah, you just got here, Jenny. You can't, you know, it's not an insult. Something totally different. Anyways, he was 27 years old. Let's see. Just kind of reading some comments. Yeah, so anyways, if you got here late, like Jenny did, this was a case from 1972 that was just solved with Identifinders and Colleen Fitzpatrick and Misty, their awesome genealogist. And it was a case that we actually covered here in December randomly. So I always think that's kind of neat, you know. Like, we've covered so many cases that we're going to sort of overlap a little bit. Yep, and that's right. He got genealogy led to it. Now, the interesting part was that there was so little DNA available, literally 3,000 times less DNA than we have in the Bibb County DNA, a tiny 0.3 trillionths of a gram, and it was highly degraded. But Colleen and her crew, just absolutely brilliant people, were able to sort of piece it all together, load it up onto GEDmatch, and then boom. Yeah, I don't know what this was actually saying in this article. It looks like it's missing. Let me see if I can find this really quick. Again, I wanted to read where it came from. Was he on his way to an orphanage? Because somebody probably wants to use that as his out psychologically. Oh, poor kid. Yeah, who doesn't turn into a serial killer? Okay, 1952 should pop up. Okay, that looks like that's going to be the same one. It's right over here. Okay, so right it says, it was before Thanksgiving when the youngsters of Mrs. Ruby K. Shower's second grade, that's exactly perfect, 7 years old, right? 7, 6, 7, 8. Mrs. Ruby's K. Shower's second grade at the Forest Boulevard School began helping her construct a giant Santa Claus. In the picture on the left, Larry Toy, Ann Barton, Jimmy Timmerman, and Ann Moore paint Santa boots, and legs, all finished now in the second picture, getting him ready for the journey. Okay, so the Santa's going to be sent to a Chicago orphanage. And in that picture are Gregory Leo Sears, Susan Killinger, and Barry Lee Whelpley, who later goes on to stab to death a 15-year-old girl 30-something times, and only to be arrested 49 years after that for that murder. Weird, huh? Yeah, there aren't going to be too many people with that full name. That's not that. I've never seen that last name before. Whelpley. I mean, that's just not common.
Oh, sure it is, Gray. I see it all the time. I mean, I do.
Oh, bull crap. Okay. There. Oh, man. Isn't that wild? Crazy, huh? I don't. No, it's not, he's not. I don't know if it's adopted or not. It didn't say he was adopted. It was just a. It seems like he's always had that name. At least he had it when he was 7. He's not in an orphanage. He was in a second grade class. Although when I looked him up on a website, I didn't see anybody with his last name as relatives, which was kind of interesting, but it might have just been he was a single child and that the relatives he has now are sort of on, maybe on the mom's side or something. I don't know. So quiet. So quiet. Man, it's like I don't think any of my moderators really got a notification, or you know, well, some of them did, but a lot of them didn't. So hey, look, we're kind of doing our own little CrimeCon right here, right? Because probably early next week we're gonna have Colleen on with Misty if they get permission, and they're gonna come on and they'll talk about this very same case. Oh my God, really, Flossie? Jesus. Just send an email. I think I've even talked about it before. It's one of those cases that everybody's talked about. I like to do the ones that nobody does, you know? Like this one. See, this is what I love, is like, we covered this case a month ago. Or 5 months ago. And now it's solved, but nobody had talked about it at all. It's not a big video. There's not like a, you know, every single YouTuber trying to cover it because it's got big, you know, a lot of people want to watch it. It's not like Chris Watts or something. Yeah, but you can just send me a link and I'll look it up. But I've heard, like, there's about 1,000 YouTube videos on Ash should agree. So I don't think my thoughts would be any different than, well, I usually think differently than other people, but when you have 1,000 people, I'm sure there's a lot of overlap. Yeah, so if you'd like to support the channel and you know, help my channel out to keep doing what we're doing, and also where at the end of the month we'll be donating a lot more money to our Identifinders fund. We've already got 10,500 in it right now. Yeah, FreakCon, that's what it is. And still my yeah, they kind of screwed people over with the last year. They didn't give it back. It would be hard, it'd be really difficult for them to give the money back though, because it would effectively destroy their entire organization. So they should have made it where you get a voucher for whenever it's convenient for you to go to a CrimeCon in the future. Not like, hey, if you go next year, you can, you know. Thank you. Thank you, Ellie Cake. Taking off like a rocket ship. Anyways, I'll be back here in a minute. Yo. Yeah, I didn't say you're trying to bandwagon anything. I'm saying it's been covered 1,000 times by, like, go to YouTube and type that in. Right? But I'll take a look at it. Just send me an email. But isn't it it's a case of a little girl, there might even be some, like, hotel footage or something like that with her in it, walking in the hallways with some older guy. I can't remember if that's the exact one, but it seemed like there was something in there. Yeah. You might not be trying to bandwagon, but I don't want to be a bandwagon jumper. So, like, let's say tomorrow you came up and say, hey, Gray, have you ever covered Chris Watts? And you were in a coma for 2 years. And I wouldn't think that you were bandwagon jumping, but I certainly would feel that way if I was covering it. Although I was covering it right at the very beginning, I quit covering it, and we even have an emoji. Yeah, it seems like I've talked about Ash a Degree at some point. I don't remember. It might have been a couple of years ago. Or yeah, you guys want to see the... look at that. This is outside the window. I think that might be air conditioning. Hey, a little squirrel fun for a minute, right?
I just kept breaking against the wind.
Oh, soccer. It's a soccer. No, golf. Ian Baker Finch. Look at these damn things just sucking all the seeds out of the... everything. But it was cool. He didn't care that I was right there. Those damn squirrels are pretty smart, aren't they? I bet they taste pretty good, huh, Cairo? I don't know. It's kind of fun watching them. They just sit there and they stuff their mouths. They'll put like 100 nuts in their mouth at the same time. I think they're huge, Flossie, because they keep eating all of the nuts here. This sucker probably weighs 10 pounds. Look, he can't even hold himself up half the time. It's funny, he bites it here in a minute too, though. He just cold bites it, just sitting there.
If he does, he won't need a special exemption at the US Open. He'll actually be exempt for the next 5 years.
Ian, I have to wonder if not getting...
Now we get Blue Jays and all kinds of... See, he got one. Even on that move there, he got one. Yeah, this is in the yard, out the window. And that whole yard my wife did, not me. I didn't do any of that.
I think it's there that it means that much.
Oh, he's a special athlete, that's for sure. To be able to remain that focused at 50.
We have chipmunks in Oregon, not here though. Look at that! Ah! See, that was it made me laugh in the real world when it fell. You can hear me in the background.
Remain that focused at 50.
Watch this. Somehow he just sort of showed back up again at the top.
6 holes to go. Look at that.
That's a different one.
The 81 plays in the field. The Spurs game playing today. It's been letting you down.
Right back up.
I feel there might be still be another 2-shot swing somewhere. His books have still got 16. Obviously everybody's got to hit perfect shots all the way in, but if we did get another 2-shot swing and then you get the 16th hole.
Look at that guy.
Until someone's on that green at 17, that's why there's no over.
No, absolutely.
You played here in that world on the shore in 91. Anything can happen.
He's looking right at me, but he somehow knows that window's right there.
And the Zing hook. This is our first look.
Yeah. Anyways, there you go. Little squirrel fun. Yeah, it's crazy watching them moving around. All right, we're going to do this other case now, the Jennifer Lee Schmidt. This is one that this account sent over. She said that a mom on Facebook or a family member on Facebook was I don't want play-by-play though, this account. Just let me do the articles that I have and that's it, okay? So the somebody on social media said, "Wow, how come this case isn't getting very much, it never gets any coverage at all?" So I will discuss it right now. Jennifer Lee Schmidt, 1985. Yeah, you got the same one? Probably got it at Home Depot. Yeah, so it's 1985 in Indiana, Lafayette, Indiana. Okay, yeah, just... Yeah, here we go. The unexplained disappearance of a Purdue University summer school student has alarmed West Lafayette police. Jennifer Lee Schmidt, 19, of Dayton, Ohio, has been missing since about 4:30 p.m. Tuesday, Harry Martin, captain of detectives, said Thursday. Martin called her disappearance out of character. He described her as a religious person with a conservative background. I suspect foul play, he said. Schmidt, an electrical engineering major. Wow, so she was really smart. Stands 5'6" and weighs 125 pounds and has a fair complexion. She has brown hair and brown eyes. Police believe that she was wearing a white cotton blouse, pink shorts, and white shoes. She was last seen at Northwestern Avenue and Grant Street. I think I have this one in here. So basically right here. So there's Grant and Northwestern. So right in this area. At the time of her disappearance, she was not wearing jewelry and had little money, he said. A roommate reported her disappearance. Martin asked that anyone with information call the West Lafayette Police Department. And that was back then. That was 1985, so that number probably isn't even good.
Oh, you'd be surprised, Gray. A lot of times they keep those numbers over the years.
Yeah, I didn't really ask for your opinion. Police have no clues on missing Purdue student. This is 2 days later. The disappearance of a 19-year-old Purdue University student continues to mystify West Lafayette police. Jennifer Lee Schmidt, a Dayton, Ohio resident, has not been seen since Tuesday. She missed a final exam and a flight to Wisconsin, police said. Captain Harry Martin of the West Lafayette Police has said the disappearance was out of character for Schmidt, an electrical engineering student. Schmidt was last seen at Northwestern Avenue and Grant Street wearing a white cotton blouse, pink shorts, and white shoes. She's 5'6", 125 pounds. Then we move 2 days after that. She went missing on the 6th. And she's already in the paper on the 9th on a missing person case. That's pretty rare that fast. For an basically, she's not an adult. Well, no, she is an adult. She's 19, so it's a little bit, they must have really felt like something bad happened at that point. I don't think my bots are working. If you're trying to get the bots to work, they don't seem to work anymore. I'm kind of wondering. I don't know why either. I can't. The parents of an Ohio girl who disappeared from West Lafayette a week ago have returned to their home without any new information about the girl, because they're from Dayton. Detective Curtis Cunningham said police have no new leads in the disappearance of Jennifer Lee Schmidt of Dayton, Ohio. The search for the 19-year-old electrical engineering major at Purdue University has been going on since last Tuesday. Schmidt was last seen at Northwestern Avenue and Grant Street. Yeah, I mean, it's just like they really almost had nothing right off the get-go. Okay. West Lafayette, Indiana, police continued the search Tuesday for a Purdue University summer school student who disappeared more than a week ago. Jennifer Lee Schmidt, 19, of Dayton, Ohio, was last seen by a friend between 4:30 p.m. and 5 p.m. on August 6th, walking in her neighborhood near the campus. I'm mostly at the beginning of the investigation. Nobody knows anything or where she could have gone. She just disappeared, said West Lafayette Detective Curtis P. Cunningham. Wouldn't that be weird if this one was connected to the case that we just talked about? It's not really that far away. And he'd be 40, let's see, 13 plus, about 40 years old. And that's still right in the range of age that these killers still kill, you know. And actually, no, it'd be 12 plus 27, yeah, about 39, 40. Cunningham said police believe Schmidt may have been a victim of a crime because friends and relatives have said it would be uncharacteristic of her to just leave. Department of Conservation officials have searched the shores of the Wabash River and helicopter surveyed rural areas of Tippecanoe County. When she was last seen, she was wearing a white blouse, pink shorts, and flat white shoes. She had little cash. She had little cash and was not wearing any jewelry. She is a sophomore electrical engineering major and began her studies at Purdue in September of 1984. Oh, so she's actually, she'd be about 4 years younger than I am. The investigation has been slowed, he said, because she disappeared on the last day of summer school, and many of her friends have scattered across the country. Thank you, Jessica Schubach. Yes, a wave would be great. We're a little bit behind last month, and we got to get ahead. We're not doing too bad, but nowhere near last month. But that's okay. We're still going to be donating to all the different charities at the end of the month. But this last month was so amazing that I donated for the channel. Let's see, what was it? Yeah, what did we? It was $4,000, right? It was crazy. Normally it's like $2,500, $3,000, but we were able to get together enough to do $4,000. You know what I'm saying? The freaks. All right, now about a week after that, that was the 14th. Now on the 21st, with Purdue University students returning to campus, police are cautioning co-eds. It's weird how, you know, we always thought it was kind of strange, or at least I did, that co-eds are women. Like, why are they women? You know, why is a co-ed? That's just to stay in lighted areas and be alerted for anything suspicious. The warnings stem from the disappearance of Jennifer Lee Schmidt. Thank you, Rita Schaefer. Look at Flossie throwing out some jokes. Yeah, they never got to recover from, you know, that's one thing when, like, their ghost is up in the air saying, God, if I could just come back for a few minutes and change that damn hairstyle, is what you're saying. Come on, Flossie. Jeez. Rita Schaefer and Georgina Stoliker. The warning stemmed from disappearance of Jennifer Schmidt, a 19-year-old sophomore. Miss Schmidt was reported missing by her roommates August 7th. She was last seen walking in her neighborhood near the campus at about 4 p.m. Authorities who at first weren't too concerned are now baffled by the case. Basically, around the university, if somebody calls in and says, "My roommate didn't come home last night," that doesn't mean a whole lot, said police detective Kurt Cunningham. However, when police this is when police actually listen, and that's how they should always be doing it. However, when police learned Miss Schmidt missed her flight home to Dayton, Ohio, August 8th, the suspicion of foul play became stronger. If Miss Schmidt does not, we didn't know about that flight, so she was going to fly home on the following day. If Miss Schmidt does not appear for classes Monday, women students may need police warnings offered for their protection. Campus Police Chief John R. Woods said but if you lived in Delphi, it would be, just, according to Tobe Lesenby, nothing, hey, just live your life normally. But here on this campus, they were starting to do escorts, make sure women were making it home safely. Woods said he is aware of only 2 other abduction cases in Purdue within the last 10 years. In 1977, Christine Kozik, 19, was killed, and another woman survived a period of captivity in Wisconsin before being found. Woods said the statistics, 3 incidents in 10 years among the nearly 13,000 women students living in the area, 9 months each year, might indicate women are remarkably safe at Purdue. Yeah, when you think about 19,000 walking every single night, and you only have 3 cases in 10 years. And then there was a prayer vigil. Let's see. Schmidt, a retired Air Force major, so it must be his father, her father, of a Dayton, Ohio suburb, probably worked at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, hold to their hope and resolve that their daughter will return safely. Schmidt is a retired Air Force major, and his hope is that his daughter will follow him into that branch of the service. The Arnold Air Force Society is an honorary student organization that supports charitable projects. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see, what else they got here? Doesn't look like there's any details here. So now we're moving into September now. So here they seem to be like they were interested in somebody way back when. A Tippecanoe County grand jury investigating drugs and the disappearance of a Purdue University student will continue to meet through September. See, you only have grand juries when you have a suspect. You don't just sort of, The jurors meeting 1.5 to 2 days a week through the month will talk about the August 6th disappearance of Jennifer Lee Schmidt, 19. West Lafayette police have combed the area but have not been able to find her. She attended summer school at Purdue. Schmidt, an electrical engineering major, stands 5'6", 125 pounds, has fair complexion. She has brown hair and brown eyes. Hold on, I'm trying to get my screen to work. Okay, there we go. Hey, Flossie, do you mind if we focus now on this case? I know you got your jokes in, but I think we're ready to move on from the jokes. Okay. Awesome, thanks. Although authorities have said they have... Where are we at right here? Oh, I thought I was on this. I was reading this one, but my brain went over the top. Let's just move on and start talking about the case we're talking about right now, okay? Right. Okay, great. Where is Jennifer Lee Schmidt? Police, Schmidt's parents, and her friends have been asking themselves this question for more than a month. Schmidt, 19, a Purdue student from Beaver Creek, Ohio, was last seen August 6th. Officer Gary Rockhold of the West Lafayette Police Department said, "There's nothing new about Jennifer. We need something to break the ice." In the past week, there have been helicopter checks, and the river has been checked with airboat. Schmidt, a sophomore in electrical engineering, was last seen by David Dippin. So now we get a little bit more. So she was last seen by David Dippin, a fellow Air Force ROTC member, at about 5 p.m. August 6th. So that was after that. Dippin said, so this must be somebody they were interested in. He happened to speak to Schmidt at Grant Street and Northwestern Avenue as he walked to campus. Okay, so not. And she walked in the other direction. The only thing we were talking about was exams that were coming up on Wednesday. Veronique, too, her summer school roommate, at their Wilena Plaza apartment. All right, let's see where she lived. There we go. Ah, Jesus. So you guys are still talking about the jokes. Oh, that was brilliant. Oh, everybody. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, you got the one joke in. Now let's get on to the, All right. Let's see. It is 402 Northwestern Avenue. It's like, let's build a coalition here. 402 Northwestern Avenue. So it's probably going to be right around here, right? Oh, so she just left her where she lived. I mean, it's right there, right at the corner there. So this is where she lived, right here. Alright, so let's see. Veronica 2, her summer school roommate at their Wilane Plaza apartment at 402 Northwestern Avenue, said she saw Schmidt at 4 p.m. that same day. And then the ROTC guy saw her at 5 at that intersection. She was her usual cheerful self. Along with two other roommates, Rita March and Lee Ellen Nissel, became worried as the evening wore on. Another roommate, Diana Spencer, had already finished school and left town. At first we thought she was out studying really late, Tu said, but she didn't have her books. Schmidt didn't show up for an exam scheduled for 3:20 the next day. Even if she was upset, she wouldn't miss her exam. The woman reported her missing to police at about 5:30, she said. We figured we had to wait 24 hours before police would say she was missing anyways. Probably right. Don Schmidt, the missing woman's father, said she saw her last July 31st after watching Jennifer's brother graduate from the United States Air Force Academy. She didn't have any problems, he said. She was happy, mature, and a disciplined person. She was to fly to Butternut, Wisconsin for a family reunion on August 8th. He said he received hundreds of letters expressing interest in Schmidt. We greatly appreciate the response of friends and people we don't even know. All right, so maybe it's, now you guys, let's just do joke time. Okay, tell you what, I'm gonna go to the beach. Now tell your jokes. It should be funny now. Oh my God, it's unreal. Unreal. Man. Yeah, I don't know. It just shows you how little they have. She basically just vanished. But you sort of wonder about that ROTC guy, right? Right, a little bit? I mean, he does say that he saw her. He might have thought somebody saw her with him, so made sure he mentioned it. Hey, thanks, Rita Schaefer. Yeah, it's hard to... I mean, it's weird because this is regarding a... You know, there was a grand jury that was put together, right? Yeah, what do you think about that new channel that's doing the puppets of the grifter? It's freaking amazing, man. I can't believe it. Yeah, I'm just wondering if them mentioning this ROTC guy here was sort of a hint. Who they were talking about. Even though it's another article, it's just 3 days later. Oh, you have to go look it up. It's hilarious. I'm not going to show it, but it has like a puppet of the grifter. It's freaking amazing. He's with the same backgrounds and everything. It's just... Yeah. Oh, Stu. Yeah, that guy's an idiot. I mean, Stu's one of the... He's just a... I don't know why any of you even spend a second watching anything that guy... It's just... He's got a wig on and he's just goofing around. There's nothing serious about it. Yeah, he's a crazy person, okay? Princess Diane? I don't know. Oh, because isn't there a Spencer in the family too? Thank you, Carolina T. Put up a corn wheel for squirrels, my window, and a deer saw a reflection and broke through my window. Oh man. Oh, one of the Blue Jays went into the window the other day. Somebody scared the bird and it flew right into the window. Yeah, so thank you, Rita Schaefer, Amber Maiden, Georgina Stoliker, and Carolina T. I'm gonna go get some Gatorade, though. And yes, just Gatorade. Nope, no Speedos, Zozo, no Speedos. I did used to wear those, though. I was a swimmer. I was a competitive swimmer, and I was pretty good. I was really good at butterfly. Oh, look at that. We got Korean again. Yes. What do we got? What do we got now? So yes, we had to wear those damn little Speedos. He's pushing us to make jokes and something about puppetry. Well, yeah, you gotta go watch the, yeah, I don't know. Message me on Facebook and I'll send you the link. Or maybe, here's what I'll do. I'll make a community post for channel members only, and you'll see it. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, I never really liked wearing those. I always felt kind of weird, you know? I guess after time you just didn't care, but you're always a little bit embarrassed walking up to the starting block. You know, like, what's going on? Why are we all wearing these little tiny, you know? But as soon as I got in the water, you know, the worst part I was really fast, you know, like I did the 50 fly in 27 seconds when I was a little kid. And, you know, that would be a pretty good, 54 would be awesome for 100. So I used to practice all the time, and then I started playing basketball. But when I went to high school, I go, oh, I could still do this. So I'd practice sometimes. And so I was, one time let's see, what was it? I was in the city meet, and I was just all the, you know, the bigwigs. And so I was in the water, and I was literally, like, after 3 lengths of the pool, I was half a pool in front of everybody. And then when I made the final turn, I wasn't in good enough shape, and oxygen deprivation hit. And it was so insane. Like, literally, after I made the turn, maybe a couple strokes in, you go like this. Like, yeah, I couldn't even lift my arms up or anything. I was just sort of this weird creature with just basically hands that could kind of move. Yeah, it sucked. So I did great in the 75. Blew away those suckers in the 75. Yeah. Now they have those big sort of full body suits everybody does. Butterfly is fun, man. Just like, here's what was weird. See, I never even swam before. And then I took a few lessons. And then I just sort of joined the swim team, you know. And you kind of had these different levels. And by the end of the year, I actually competed in the highest level in breaststroke, and I made the finals in the city, and I think I got, like, I don't know, I got a medal of some kind. It wasn't like, but it wasn't medals for everybody. You know, if you're in the finals, everybody gets at least a ribbon. Or it might even be a medal if you're in the finals, but there's like gold, you get a trophy, and then silver, bronze, and then various colors going down for the 8 spots there. You know, but you already blew out. There was probably 60 people, 70 people in the event, right? So I did pretty good, and then I learned butterfly kind of close after that, and then I started competing, and I actually won the city in a 100 fly when I was like, I don't know, 12 or something. I still have the trophy sitting around. Well, thanks, I Love Labs. I know that. Yeah, he should be fired. He made a lot of mistakes. He's not very. The players don't play hard for him. We need somebody else. Scott Holland. That's for damn sure. Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, remember the city swim meets? We'd all sit around. It was like 1977, 78. I remember that. And then I started playing basketball after that. One time I skipped practice. And, well, here's one of my coolest swimming events. Or it wasn't even a meet, really. It was in practice. We were doing a relay, and so we were just kicking ass. So I just stopped in the pool and turned around and came back and went, "Yay, we won!" Like just a total dipshit, right? And my coach got so angry, and he was this really good swimmer. He got so angry, and he made me like finish that and race him. And I got in that water, and I was like a blender. I mean, it was just blew bad. And then when I was done, he was like, "Okay, that's what I'm talking about." I was like, shit, I should probably do that in a meet. What was I doing right there? Yeah. Maybe it was 29. It was 29 seconds in the 50, not 27. But yeah, he got so mad. He was like hovering over me, like, oh, yeah. All right, anyways, I'm going to get back. Thank you, Kathy Freidenmaker, Scott Holland, I Love Labs, Carolina T, Georgina Stoliker, Amber Maiden, Rita Schaefer for the Island Fantasy. It might take me a week or so to get over the grumpiness from the Blazers, okay? So, sorry if I get grumpy on you guys. You just have to put up with it, man. All right, we're back. We're going to continue on now. Right, so I think we just finished this part. So basically, there was an ROTC guy that talked to her. Her roommate saw her at 4, ROTC at 5 at that intersection. And she was going to fly home on the 8th, so that's when they really started to believe that something bad happened. Okay, and then 4 days later. And those are her parents. You can just look how just devastated. Horrible. Wouldn't that, I mean, what if that was her only child too? Man. Let's see. The parents of missing Purdue University student were in West Lafayette Wednesday to make a grim plea for any information about their daughter's whereabouts. If anyone knows anything, please let us have peace of mind, a sobbing Johnny Schmidt said, clutching her husband's hand. If she's no longer with us, it's important for us to know so that we can do what we can to have a Christian burial. Johnny 50 and Don Schmidt 55. So you know what's weird is when you look at them and you look at people now that are 55, they don't look anywhere near as old as those two people do. It's strange how younger people look now comparatively. Like this guy looks like he's 65, right? Traveled to, like I'm the same age as this guy right here, right? I guess I could sort of be that age. I don't know. I don't know what the hell it is. All the steroids in the food, I guess. But you remember when you were a kid, when somebody was 60, you were like, and that's why Social Security starts at 65, because it used to be people died sort of around that time, but it gave you a few years of comfort if you didn't have any money. Now you retire at 65 and you're still playing croquet at 106. You got a whole second life going on. Thanks, Zozo. Let's see. Jennifer, 19, was last seen August 6th at Grant Street and Northwestern. She's 5'6". We've gone through this. Anyone with information is asking to contact law enforcement officials. Is asked to contact law enforcement officials or the news media. Police suspect foul play, but they've said they have no clue. Her parents stood outside the West Lafayette Police Department and explained their frustration. They said they'd welcome any information about Jennifer, even if it's supplied anonymously. They said they still have hope that their daughter is alive, but we're very practical, reasonable people, Johnny Schmidt said. We're just trying to get an answer to the unanswered question. Where is she? The nightmares are horrible. Wait, no, she must have a family member, right? Because, let's see. The nightmares are horrible. The Schmidt said their faith in God has helped them cope with the uncertainty. But Don said it's hard to sleep. It's hard to eat. It's hard to do all the normal things that a family wants to do. Alright, then 2 weeks later, September 27th, 1985. Now here we go with that grand jury again. The Tippecanoe County Grand Jury Thursday returned 2 indictments against 4 defendants, but did not act on testimony that it heard about a missing Purdue co-ed. See, now it's weird. They have some information. Jennifer Schmidt, 19, last was seen the afternoon of August 6th at Northwestern Avenue and Grant Street, police said. Police have said they have no new leads in the search for the summer student from Beaver Creek, Ohio. John Myers, Tippecanoe County prosecutor, said the grand jury work in the Schmidt case didn't develop to a point that justified putting it to a vote. So it must have been pretty weak. He declined further comment. Man, I'd like to know what that was. They had something. Judge Kenneth Thayer, Tippecanoe Supervisor Court, ordered the indictment sealed until the defendants are arrested or report has ordered to the court. I think they're talking about this top part up here. Myers said that the 2 indictments are connected with a 1984 drug investigation or related matters. The grand jury of 4 women and 2 men were discharged from further duty. However, Myers asked the judge to summon prospective grand jurors to serve from October through December. Myers would not say what the next grand jury would investigate. Yeah, anyways. Tippecanoe grand jury examines drug traffic. So this is about 11 days later. A new Tippecanoe Superior Court grand jury begins work Thursday in continuing probe of illegal drug traffic. Jerry Bean, Tippecanoe County Chief Deputy Prosecutor, told the jurors they probably would meet 2 days a week, completing their duty by mid-December. The jurors seated Monday also were told that depending on the developments, they possibly could look into the disappearance of a missing Purdue co-ed. So now I'm kind of thinking that there's some element of a drug trafficking has something to, they think might have something to do with their disappearance, because even the previous grand jury had a similar other cases that they were discussing. Jennifer Lee Schmidt, 19, of Dayton, Ohio, has been missing since August 5th. A grand jury that completed its duty in September heard testimony in the Schmidt case, but decided the testimony didn't justify action. The jury did return indictments against 4 persons. 1 person was indicted on drug charges, and 3 others were indicted on charges of criminal trespass and battery. The continuing investigation has followed a 1984 police probe that closed in November with the arrest of nearly 100 suspects on drug dealing charges. Weird. Alright, and 5 days later. So I wonder if this, let's see what this kind of discusses that. Since Jennifer Lee Schmidt was reported missing, police have checked out all calls concerning her, no matter how strange they have been. Schmidt, 19, a Purdue student from Beaver Creek, Ohio, was last seen August 6th. The Lafayette and West Lafayette police departments have received several false leads from people who claim responsibility for Schmidt's disappearance. Who the hell does that? God. We've had some odd calls, Sergeant Howard Dodd of the West Lafayette Police said, but you can't afford not to check it out. We have to take a look at everyone, no matter how unusual. Captain James Withers of the Lafayette Police said. Police on Friday investigated a man claiming to have killed Schmidt, but after interviewing him, they determined the man had no involvement in the Schmidt case. Who the hell does that? It's so dumb. I mean, it's just... The guy, oh, here he is. The guy is mentally unstable. We've had others who have tried to confess to this in a roundabout way, he said. In any crime, you'll get volunteers who want to get the credit. Dodd said the department received more unusual calls soon after her disappearance, but they still come in occasionally. They said no more calls. Even with the... they received more unusual calls soon after her disappearance, but they still continue to get them. So, they got many more calls right after, but they still get some. Even with the strange calls that come in, police appreciate people who call in if they know or see anything that could help them solve the case. Alright, and 10 days after that, 1985, October 23rd. I mean, did this guy have any other option other than being a detective? I mean, look at that guy. I mean, it's like if you put a picture in the paper and said, you know, that era detective, that's the face that would be sitting right next to it. Let's see. It hasn't been easy for Harry Martin to admit to himself. That's Harry Martin right here, this guy. It hasn't been easy for Harry Martin to admit to himself that Jennifer Lee Schmidt is dead. My worst fear has been for some time that we've got another Kozik case, and my worst fear is a reality. The West Lafayette. Need some. Yep. Except it's not really a joke. It's just an observation of what he looks like, you know. 3 men walk into a bar, and my worst fear has been for some time that we've got another Kozik case, and my worst fear is a reality, the West Lafayette police detective captain said. The 19-year-old Purdue University co-ed from Ohio has been missing since August 6th, and there's nothing in Schmidt's background or character to suggest she would disappear without notifying her family. In 1977, another Purdue student, Kristen Kozik, 19, disappeared, and Martin and others spent hundreds of hours chasing down leads. Months later, her remains turned up in a remote area south of Lafayette. The killer was not found and won't be unless his conscience someday forces him to confess. Let's see, hold on. Murder of Christine Kozik. Oh, weird. It's weird how Jennifer Schmidt showed up right on that one. So that's the same article, I think. The nude, badly decomposed body found on a farm outside Lafayette, Indiana was identified by police Wednesday. Okay. Looks like it might still be unsolved here. Huh. Might have to take a look at that one. Kind of interesting, though. Another Purdue co-ed, right? And it's never been solved. Wait, what was her name again? God. Kozak. No. Okay. So it says 1977, another Purdue student, Christine Kozak. That would have been not too long before. 8 years. Martin, 46, has 3 daughters, 2 grown and the other a teenager. In talking with Miss Kozak's parents and now the Schmidts, he had a father's appreciation of their pain and frustration. So he's probably able to empathize, having kids himself. In gathering any and all information that might lead somewhere, a sense of truly caring about the missing person develops. You talk to family and friends and acquaintances. You get to know your victim. You begin to care about your victim. It's a police officer's instinct. Dealing with family members calls for a sensitivity you can't learn from reading police training manuals. Martin said you try to walk a thin line with the family between the reality of the seriousness of their missing loved one and yet try to give them some ray of hope. Miss Schmidt has been missing 2.5 months, and the crime statistics are stacked heavily against her being found alive. Her parents accept she is gone, Martin said, and want to give her a decent burial. The detective said running away would be totally out of character for Miss Schmidt, and there is nothing to indicate she may have snapped mentally, leaving her out there somewhere, lost and unidentified. When you reduce it to abduction, the sickening fear sets in for the family and the police officer. Hours mount up, then the hours turn into days, the days into weeks, and the weeks into months. MUNTS. A general mind-boggling, weary frustration sets in. You check every conceivable lead and others that aren't even conceivable. Wow, he would have had plenty of those in the Delphi case. He'd have been busy for years just talking about the face in the grain of wood. You check every conceivable lead. A farmer finds a depression in a field. Vultures are seen circling an area. A Lafayette man falsely confesses he did it. The family expects a professional, logical approach to locating their loved one. See everybody? Listen to this. Listen to this sentence right here. All you wacko YouTubers out there, you hear that, Greeno? Listen. The family expects a professional, logical approach to locating their loved one. You get that one? All right, good. As long as you have leads, regardless of how insignificant, the family maintains some hope, he said. But when the leads terminate, the absolute agony of the reality of the case sets in. That's the point we've reached. Yeah, just 2.5 months in. Isn't that crazy? MUNTS. And then 2 years later, about 1.5 years later, I found another article. So let's see what they're saying here. Police in West Lafayette, this is 1987, Indiana may have a break in the 1985 disappearance of a suburban Beaver Creek woman and are trying to link the case with a more recent kidnapping suicide. Jennifer Lee Schmidt, 19, was attending summer classes as a sophomore electrical engineering student at Purdue University. Let's see. In West Lafayette when she disappeared in August 1985. She is the daughter of Don and Johnny Schmidt of Beaver Creek. West Lafayette Police Captain Harry Martin, that same guy, so now he's a captain, not a detective anymore, said that after more than a year of investigating leads and traveling to check the remains of unidentified women, police are wondering whether the suicide of William Michael Gable is related to Miss Schmidt's disappearance. I was kind of wondering that when they mentioned that at the beginning. Gable, 31, shot himself in the head at his home March 1st as police entered the residence in the tiny community of Mulberry, about 15 miles southeast of West Lafayette. Martin said officers were carrying an arrest warrant naming Gable as the suspect in the abduction 5 days earlier of a West Lafayette woman. Interesting. According to police, the woman was bound and gagged with tape the day after her abduction and thrown into the Wabash River, which runs through Lafayette and West Lafayette. Runs through Lafayette and West Lafayette. Officers said she freed herself and swam to shore for help. Wow. The 24-year-old woman who said she was abducted while leaving a stable on Purdue campus. Oh boy. I can definitely see this being related. And then the girl got away and got out, and he knew it. And he might have done exactly the same thing. So she was leaving a stable on Purdue's campus, helped police trace Gable to his home in Mulberry. Martin said the abduction appears similar to the disappearance of Schmidt, although, you don't know if the MO is the same because you don't know if she was tied up or anything. Schmidt, who dropped out of sight after leaving her apartment. Police searched the campus, the city, the surrounding rural areas of the Wabash. And this guy would have been, 29 at the time? Because now he's 31. I think that is a pretty decent possibility that this guy is the same person. But found no clues. Student groups helped with the search, plastering Purdue and West Lafayette with posters bearing the missing woman's picture. Yeah, because she probably disappeared without a trace as well. She just happened to survive after being thrown into the river. What if Jennifer didn't survive when she was tossed into the river? And hell, based on some other cases we've talked about, how far could she have floated away? And nobody found her. Something like that. And that's her. Jennifer Schmidt, a Purdue University electrical engineering major from Dayton, Ohio, went missing in August 1985. On the summer afternoon, she disappeared. Schmidt left her off-campus apartment to go speak with a professor. See, that part's interesting and not really in those articles. You kind of wonder if this guy was the grand jury discussion as well. Maybe not that other individual. She was last seen talking to an acquaintance at Grant and Northwestern Streets. That's that student that was mentioned earlier. At the request of her family, she was declared dead by the state of Ohio in May 1993. Foul play is suspected. Then there's a Charlie Project. Nothing extra there. And this is International Missing Persons Wiki. Oh, look, I was looking up New Balance golf shoes. Jeez. At the time of her disappearance, Jennifer was a freshman at Purdue University, majoring in electrical engineering. She was seen leaving her apartment to speak to a professor. She was last seen talking to an acquaintance at Grant Northwestern Street. She has not been heard from again. According to a Radford University article, Schmidt has been named as an alleged victim. Oh, look at that's right, I did read this. Of serial killer Larry Dwayne Hall. So that was just in an article somewhere. Hall is speculated to be responsible for the disappearance of up to 45 women during the 1980s and 1990s. Hall was known to frequent college towns for victims, and Schmidt does fit his general victim profile. He is currently incarcerated at a North Carolina federal prison for the 1993 kidnapping and murder of Jessica Roach. He has not been charged for any other murders besides Roach's, however. Schmidt, who lived in Dayton, Ohio, when not at school, was declared legally dead by the state of Ohio in 1993. I don't know. Who knows if that's the person. I think the other person a few minutes ago seemed like a better example, because you knew that he abducted somebody on the campus, tied her up, and then completely, nobody saw the abduction or anything, and then was thrown into a river, still bound. This guy, he's a serial killer, but, can you link him to the area, or... Oh, there he is. I've seen that guy before. Oh, so now he's saying he was part of another. So you kind of wonder if he's becoming a little bit like the other guys that are, those other two guys. I always forget their names. Shit. They're like the clearinghouse. They encounter deputies while she... So this is another woman that he's claiming. Anyways. Yeah, well, I don't have any more to talk about, you guys. That was it. A 50-year-old, 49-year-old cold case solved. And we're just discussing Jennifer Lee Schmidt, another case that hasn't been solved. She's still missing. She's not alive, but she's missing. Yeah, Henry Lee Lucas. Yeah. The Clearinghouse. I'm glad I can't remember his name. I don't like the guy. Nope. Today's Friday. Yeah. So anyways, thank you guys for showing up tonight. And probably early next week we're going to get Colleen on and Misty, and they're going to discuss, the DNA portion. What they had to work with and how they put it all together. It's just so awesome. God. And one of these labs actually has a computer that actually puts all the pieces back together if it can. The more degraded it is, it can't. But if it's not horribly degraded, they can put together everything by... Yeah, I don't know. I'd rather have her try to explain it. Yeah, Plato, you're going to have to go get that rewind mode put in. Huh? What are you talking about? What's Leland Lely? What's that? Never heard of it. Yeah, we don't do DVR on this channel. Yep, definitely don't do DVR. Yep. Hey, we got 12 more freaks since yesterday. It's not really that great. The freak count. 58,448. Oh, it looks like I'm buffering a little bit. Am I buffering to you guys? I can see it on the other screen. Oh, look at that. The Blazers fired Terry Stotts. There we go. Boom. Anyways, that's what I'm going to go do right now. I'm going to go watch this stuff. That's really crazy. Boom. You knew that was going to be happening. Hopefully I get another coach quick and get stuff going. Wow, that's wild, huh? What's the no buffering? Okay. All right. Anyways, I really appreciate you guys supporting the channel. It's really up to you guys, and that's why we're able to keep my channel going and the ridiculous amounts that we're able to donate at the end of each month. Okay, and the stuff we're going to be doing once we get on a roll, and you start seeing actual cases solved, some of these missing persons, you guys are going to just be like, oh my, you're going to have such a great feeling. I know I am. Because we're all one big team, right? I just happen to be the one that's on the air, doing it. Okay, like a family. We're putting together. It's gonna be just crazy stuff, man. It's gonna be crazy. Can't wait to get the hitchhiker one, and just boom, 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 boom. There's a couple other ones too. And we're just going to keep putting money in there. I might even try to get that fund up to 20,000 by the end of the year. I think that's totally doable at this point. And if we can do that, man, we'll just have a lot of money in there ready to go. So it's awesome. Thank you to Brian Joe, Rita Schaefer, William Zambrano, Cairo, Susie Heath, Stace on the Case, Mary Ridenour with a cat eye donation, Michelle Nicholas, Jay Case with a cat eye donation. Thank you. They pretty much saved the night, both of them. Sandy Lee G, Kathy Freidenmaker, Lee D, Sarah Smile, Scott Holland, Fiber Sleuth, Cairo again, Allie Cake, Jessica Schubach, Rita Schaefer, Georgina Stoliker, Rita Schaefer, Amber Maiden, Georgina Stoliker again, Carolina T, I Love Labs, Scott Holland, Kathy Freidenmaker, and Carolina Girl. Thank you guys. Let's see, let me check one other place. Yeah. Somebody asked me, hey Grady, you ever heard of Kyron Horman? No, I've never heard of him. Thank you, Kentucky Church Guy. Alright, so we're gonna maybe tomorrow we'll do like a true crime call-in again, then Sunday we do the Delphi one, then early next week we're gonna have, well, tomorrow I'm gonna try to get Kelsey and Becky on while they're at CrimeCon. They can kind of walk around, film stuff for us, something like that. Might be kind of fun. And then maybe we can have some call-in or something. I wonder if we could even do something where there's people there that have missing there's a lot of people that go to CrimeCon that have missing family members, and it might be kind of neat if they could even call in, I guess, on using Zoom, something like that. Hey, thanks, Muse. Appreciate it. Awesome. Okay, anyways. All right, guys. We'll see you later. Make sure if you haven't got vaccinated yet to keep wearing your mask, keep maintaining your social distancing, and wash your hands. If you're outside, don't worry about, just do your own thing. Don't worry about that. But if you've been vaccinated, you can start trying to get back to normal again. Not wearing your masks at all. Get back to normal. All right. So thanks, everybody, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now.
Yeah.
And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a
Crime dissector, thug rejector.
I'm a certified
human lie detector.
Gonna get ya.
I'll sketch ya
if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Grego's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a specter with a vector on his specter. With all respect, y'all.
Hey, I sound the same when I do that one.
I have no agenda. I'm a pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody. Talk to you later. All right. Well, anyway, I'm not gonna do the songs. I gotta go follow what's going on over here. But thank you guys very much. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.
Hey, what about me? I want to say goodbye too.
Okay, say goodbye then.
Oh, okay. Wait, let me do it again. Okay, goodbye, everybody.
Can I say goodbye too?
Sure, John boy, you can say goodbye too. Jeez.
Goodbye, everybody.
Gosh, Gray, why are you so mean?
Oh my God. Can I just have a one night of peace, Mary Lou?
No.
Well, then forget you. All right, everybody. Be safe out there.